joined by Briasa. Chrysaor's running on, so's Rustic Steel, but Felix and Briasa are fighting it out. Felix Majestic, Briasa, they draw down to the line. Bob and go might be Briasa.
Welcome to Bet Doctor. Behind the curtain look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host, Scoot. Got Walty on board here. He's fresh off the kids' Christmas pageant yesterday. How was it?
No, it was great.
Silent night.
Yeah, that was probably the highlight of the week, to be honest. You've actually brought me out of a grumpy mood a little bit, tiny bit. Yeah, no, it was. There was a couple of kids were highlights. What about one of them? The backing sound didn't work, so they just brassed them. So there's like 40 kids up there that have practiced this song, all their family in the crowd, and they just cold brassed them, sent them off. I've never seen anything like it. Beck was dead set about the camp. It wasn't us, thank God. Otherwise, she would have killed. But it was anyway. We battle on.
Glad I can dodge that sort of stuff. We had a 13-year-old kids party, and we sent them off to bounce because it was wet, and then they came back, ate pizza for 45 minutes and destroyed the house. So thought I dodged a bullet, but copped it fair and square up the dot. DK, how are you, brother?
Yeah, good, Scoot. Yeah, no, we're it's a bit in for some hot weather down here. We're going to deal with a couple of irrigated tracks the next few days. We've got 32 today, I think 35, 36 or something Saturday, Nico, for Cranbourne.
Yeah, so you think they'd have to put a lot of water on that track, so they'll have an interesting component to that meeting as well, given it's usually hard rail and on speed, so if they water it too much and the rail's off, you just could be dealing with anything out there at Cranbourne. So, yeah, bit of a mixed bag maybe, but yeah, it's good that the weather's finally coming down here. A couple of beach days maybe incoming.
Grouse. All right, fence off, no monorail, sort of like the sound of that. Caulfield Heath, they're through 3 meetings now. What do you think of the inner track yesterday, Nico, and thoughts overall? Do you like it? You love it? You hate it?
I don't mind it. I think it's definitely a momentum track. I think you got to keep your momentum up. You can't really get held up there by the looks of things, but the meetings I've done there, I've won, so maybe I'm biased, but I don't mind it. I think, considering the horses that race around there, I think it's pretty similar to what you usually sort of cop at a Cranbourne or a Mornington anyway. So it's definitely not as good as Sandown, but I don't think it's I don't think it should be compared to that given the track layout. So yeah, I don't mind it, to be honest. And there's stacks of meetings that are coming up. I think the next three Thursdays, I think they have a meeting at the Heath. I'm assuming they're all twilight meetings, so they'll be interested to see how the crowd pans out there and if they sort of trying something there, the MRC, because usually they have to run the twilights there Wednesdays, so they're going to have a few Thursday twilight meetings, I think. Yeah,
you want to be definitely, it's good. I mean, it's place to going to play to good mappers, I think. And if you're coming from off midfield, you want to be saving ground. You want to be saving ground at some stage. You can't, I think that Howl and Rain yesterday, the race 5, whatever, was a perfect example. B Shin was 3 back the fence on Son of Solly. The winner was right behind him on the fence, and Carlene's 3 wide and even wider on the turn, and they sucked through and saved ground, and you can't cover ground. So, and if you want to come from off and come wide, you need to turn a foot like the Graham Beck horse, who just ripped home, and it was one who sort of rounded him up from the back against sort of the pattern of the day. But yes, I ideally want to be saving a bit of ground there, Scoot, but defaulting to good mappers.
You like it more than the Caulfield track proper?
No,
Dare I ask?
It's hard. It's hard not to like it more than Caulfield, but I hate it because I turned me off unloading on the big thing. It went like a rocket the other day, and drawn wide, it was always going to be last, and then it was just painful to watch as it steamed down the outside, all style like.
Did steam.
Yeah, leave me out of Caulfield.
Quick wrap-up of the news. Most of it's in North Korea. Racing New South Wales sort of dropped Thursday/Friday, so it's not real new news, but there seems to be a whistleblower that's come forward with allegations of JobKeeper inappropriation. So Racing New South Wales could be under investigation soon. It's hard for parliamentary inquiry and governments not to sort of go digging, given the magnitude of that. And that's it's alleged that it's $500,000 in payments per month of JobKeeper when racing really never stops. So that's a please explain. It'll be interesting to see what comes of that, if not anything. And there's a real tit for tat that's playing out across the media, and we'll call it X, between Mark Latham, who tabled the allegations, and he's only relaying the story that he's heard from the whistleblower. But now there looks like there's some Heatchote jobs and some interesting press coming through on Mark Latham in various publications in the Sydney media. John Walters smiling.
Yeah, no, it's like it's too much for me. But it is good, like you said, tit for tat. It's better than tat for tat, isn't it? At least it's a two-way street. It seems to be a little bit. The pipeline's opened up a bit for a bit of questioning and hopefully answers to a lot of things, not just that. But I think that the whistleblower, whatever you want to call them, that was just sort of one of the issues they raised. So hopefully everything's looked into, and if they're cleared, they're cleared. If they're not, they're not.
Mm. I only really listed that issue. There is a couple more, but it's pretty tangible, $500K per month. And there's some other stuff that would definitely raise eyebrows. So I'd be shocked if there's no deeper investigation, despite PVL saying that they've been audited and all clear. David Walter, Uncle Dave, he's pressing for the ATC board, and it sounds like Tim Hale, SC, he's looking for reappointment as well. So there's talk of a resolution to stop the Rosehill sale and even to stop it getting to the members' vote. So that space is moving quickly, and there'll be some decisions at board level soon, because it's been postponed, the vote, back to April, to whether they sell or not sell Rosehill based on some more information gathered. But it's starting to look more unlikely, I would have thought.
Oh, you'd say 101. Yeah, I'd say it's gone, as in the voting side of it. The only way, like what do they call it? The old
compulsory
acquisition. Yeah, it would be the only way, I'd say, to go through now, you would imagine, unless something crazy happens between now and then. And the more unrest, I would say, on the Racing New South Wales side of the fence, the less momentum any sort of sale would have as well, I would think. So, yeah, I think it's in a lot of trouble, unless Mins, always had a trump card up his sleeve that he was going to play anyway, but we'll see what happens.
Exactly. So there's a couple of small cracks starting to grow by the day in the Great Wall of Korea. Real doozy. This one slid across my desk. You boys down in Victoria might know something about this, but looks like a bit of an own goal here. Greyhound Racing Victoria have banned their own greyhound racing callers from any betting on greyhounds, full stop. So not even in their own jurisdiction. We were talking about this in a bit of our Bet Doctor chat, and Shane Adair quipped with a bit of comedy at the old South Australian race caller Hilton Donaldson. He said that turnover in South Australia would be halved if they had have ever done the same to Hilton Donaldson. And old TB doesn't mind a bet as well, declared the moral early in the week. That was some funny press from the racing.com, or good little snippets there. But sounds absolutely insane, Melbourne boys, for the Vics to start banning greyhound callers from betting on other jurisdictions.
Yeah.
What do you think?
What would be the reasoning? That they're influencing the market through their comments or something? What would be the reasoning?
Well, they'd still do that anyway, because they're going to still be tipping in the races and things like that. So if that's the case, then they'd still be doing that if the market is gravitating towards they say. So it doesn't make
You know what I mean?
sense.
If they're tipping their thing, like if they've had 500 on the one and they've tipped it fourth and tipped three others and declaring something, trying to get their dog out in the market or something, I don't understand where there could be an integrity issue other than something like that. Like what would be the possible reasoning?
But even in other states, they want to ban them from betting full stop.
Yeah, well, that's just like it's like they're an underground mafia of they're fixing the markets together or something. Like, what the heck is it? How does it? Oh, it's just crazy.
Most of them are the worst judges ever. DK.
Yeah, I was nothing. So there's nothing shocks me this day and age. All this woke shit these days. So it's just someone in there's come up with that. And we mentioned Bill Collins. Bill Collins was a huge punter, and it's TB adds a bit of theatre to his, and I don't. It just race callers punting. It's just they do the form, they call the races, they have a bet there at the races. It's no one's got a problem with it except obviously some pickle at GRV apparently.
Yeah, well, you can draw a line with the poor racing jockey's agent I used to know. Very similar. Exactly. They do the work, and if there's no integrity issue and there's never been one, yeah, it's a bit weird, isn't it? Like it is. It feels a bit woke, like DK says. It's just, anyway.
Oh, speaking of
too close to home.
Speaking of stinkers,
and I have shared a tab with Hilton Donaldson a few times too, and we did get along well back in the day, launching our heads into a few walls at times. I do miss the legend Hilton. I don't know where he is these days.
Who would know? Could be anywhere. Last week, I tell you what, we were on the nose as well. I don't think we sunk a ball. We had a couple of close seconds. And if it was playing pool in the local pub, we'd be doing nudie laps. So I think it's I haven't gone too far back, but I don't think we've ever had a show where we've tipped worse or just no results sort of fell our way. And even TopSport Steam out-tipped us, so they had 2 winners on the board. So we're in the naughty corner. We have to bounce back heavily. But luckily, TopSport have got 110% markets tomorrow. So they've got Cranbourne Cup, they got the Queensland Tats Recognition and the Tats Classic as well. So there's 3 options there. And you got the Group 1 Railway over in Perth. So Tristan is putting mouth guard back in. And that'll be 3 till 4 on Friday. So you've got Cranbourne Cup, the Railway, and then 2 up in Queensland. So I think he's going to roll all the Queensland stuff right through until Magic Millions, which is good. Nico, you've got 2 races at Cranbourne, and then we're going to have a quick look at the Cup and the Meteorite. You got the Gong and the Warra, Walt, just because you love them.
Meteorites, gongs. I feel like I wouldn't mind a meteorite.
Crash down.
Yeah, right at this point.
DK, you got Moonee Valley Friday night, so slim pickings around the trap. So you're going to go metro or semi-metro shorts, and then there's the old summer night racing that just steamrolls through the valley. I'm going to have a look at the Railway and the WA Guineas. I did try and get Terry on the show, but I think the Perth markets sort of all go up around this time, and it's still only 8 o'clock over in the west. But yeah, they've fiddled with what time all the markets for the rest of the races go up, and it's a bit of catch and kill and very very tough going over there with the games that bookies are playing when they're putting the odds up. So, if we recorded an hour later, he was really excited to come on the show. So,
what a milk drinker, Terry! What a milk drinker!
What do you mean? He's just trying. He's got to feed his his family.
What do they call it? What, you can't do more than one thing at once.
Oh God!
Jesus Christ!
It's nothing worse when you miss a price.
Come on, get on here and I want to hear him fire up. I like listening to Terry. He's very opinionated. I like it.
Yeah, he could be a half brother to us. He looks very similar. There was rain around in Perth, but it looks like it's going to fine up. So sub 5, good 4, I'd say, in that sort of range. And then last week Uzziah and Pisces were the 2 TopSport Steamers. So hopefully they got a couple of morals this week. The Valley tomorrow night. Let's kick it off and let's get into it. We'll lift this week. DK, you're up first. MSC Science Plate 1600 metre race, and Canara's a favourite at TopSport $2.35. Puglia is $4.80. Rogan 10 into $6.50. Girls $6.50. Fraternise $9. Supremacy $12, and then you got Art and Soul 18, and then much better the rest. You like the look of Puglia from the Archie Alexander yard in the Jayco colours.
Jerry Ryan colours here. Gets held up here, 400 to the 200, while Mount Rajani has the beautiful clear momentum, which staying horses, sort of middle distance staying horses love. So it gets held up. Arguably should have won. Swap the run, swap the result. Second time at the races at the track. So it's proven at the track. Like the way it finishes off here. And Mount Rajani's favourite in the 280 favourite or something in the 2,000 metre race at Cranbourne on Saturday. This is a half to Kawaya, Jerry, which is a good horse of Jerry's. Might remember Nico. She won
Ballarat Cup.
She won 2 Ballarat Cups, a Coonji, a Gold Nugget. So this is a half relation to it. So I don't mind. I like that form. Canara's gone up favourite here, and I admit I got sucked in the other day of that run against Aliana, the run before. It sat in the 1-1 and went like a complete busted. B. Shin got off and said, didn't go the anti-clockwise way of going. So after B. Shin said that, Waller leaves it here trying to pinch a maiden at start 12. It's a bit of desperation to me, saying the maidens are weaker down here, better off leave it down here than going up to Sydney and trying to pinch one, which has come up short on the couple of times a few times it's tried to get a maiden up there. So jury's well and truly out on Canara to me. Start 12. I like the Archie Alexander horse stepping up in trip, sort of improving staying type. Girls, she had a good summer period where she ended up down in Tassie and nearly knocked off Winds of Song in the Strut Stakes. She's drawn the car park here, 14. Don't know where she ends up. So I think Poolia Gate 2 improving. I think that's pretty good form. I think that Nico sort of just later on looking to that form at Cranbourne in a race. So I like the Archie's a camp I try and find. So I think Poolia as the improving one here, Scoot, up into its prep, it can knock off Canara.
It's a funny Shields report because there was solid money around for Canara. It was a real big push, so it could be desperation stakes. Nothing more to add, Nico?
No, I thought Girls is an potential improver this campaign. Just from the yard last campaign, she didn't do anything right and still ran really well in some races. So I think I think 2,000 or 2,400 metres we're going to see the best of her. But I think she probably will improve this campaign if she can get a bit more of her manners right, which she probably should with a bit more maturity.
Yeah, I just thought maybe another run and up to 1,800 or 2,000 when she come in her own. But give Poolia strengths because I need to lift. I'm riding the crest of a slump. So default to Archie to get it going, get me going.
You'll be right, DK.
Straight jacket horse, Canara, drive you crazy. Gate 1, awesome. D lane, awesome. Oh, I can't wait. Poor old DK, it'll slip 3 clear and Canara will go sail through or not. Holy cow. Anyway.
As long as if he rides it like De Bergerac like yesterday, it'd be sweet as a nut, D lane. It'll just be coffined and easy money.
65 links between good D lane and bad D lane.
But Gate 1's not his, is it? Jimmy,
No.
Bergerac, Canara, and look, I think D lane prefers to be drawn away from Gate 1.
Agree.
Outstanding. All right, so that's Moonee Valley Friday night. Cranbourne. Let's get into the feature meeting here. Race 2, Hertz Robin Daley Classic 2025. Nico's full sicko here with the 2025 races. Mount Rinjani, $2.80 favourite. P. Moody, favourite. DK starts to lick his lips. King of Enterprise, $3.60. Kulakoi is $6.50. I only wish $6.50. Verona Rupee $7.50. Papal Army $12. Real Hot $14 and Moveen $34. Replay we're going to have a look at. It's Deja Vu here. It's Papal Army and it's the replay that we just saw.
Yeah, he's the leader here. Mount Rinjani is the favourite in this race, comes widest in the Yulon colours. I thought Papal Army out to 2,000 metres could probably run an improved race. Wasn't the fastest run race here. And then first up, he had a bit of market support on debut and he got held up at key stages, but he did come home in the quickest closing splits of the day. So went to the lead here and just sort of that horse runs away from him a bit late. But it could be a real different scenario come Saturday where they're out to 2,000 metres. Papal Army has the ability to put himself in the race, whereas the favourite's probably going to be back and wide. How this Cranbourne track plays, who knows? So I've looked at a few horses sort of outside the market just to have something small on because I don't know if you want to be diving into favourites, especially with 35-degree weather, the first real hot day we've had here in Victoria, really, and then how this track's going to play. So I think Papal Army, home track, Billy Egan knows the horse. It's obviously got some ability and like if DK's horse was in this race, it'd probably nearly favourite. There's not much between, a maiden and a few of these horses at the moment who bring in like King of Enterprise who comes through the carbine. So you can all tie in their form through Canara as well. So I think that's the sort of right form line, that Moonee Valley race. The market's identified that with the favourite and Papal Army is the other one out of that race. Didn't really find anything else in the race. Like King of Enterprise was a good 2 starts back, very disappointing last start. I Only Wish has never won a race. Vienna Rupees had the complete PR at Ararat DK to win, was pretty plain prior. And then Danny O'Brien's horse didn't even finish the course last start. So, I thought it was a race that it's a little bit up for grabs. The favourite may be too good, but he's going to have to do it the hard way from back in the field. And I thought Luke Nolan at Moonee Valley gave him an outstanding ride. Like for the way that race shape worked out, that was a brilliant ride. So, Papal Army for me, probably each way.
Oh, I'll have a look at the race because, these horses will come out of that Moonee Valley race. But I thought Nico's got that right. The barriers are key for Mount Rinjani. He'll have to go back. I'd say 2,000 is going to suit him best. Third up out of these horses. So he's got a bit where he gets to in the run around Cranbourne. I'm not sure. I think he might look a bit a big track horse to me, the way he went at Ballarat when he's sort of going in a straight line rather than Moonee Valley. Took a bit of winding up, so I'm not sure Cranbourne's his track.
And he used him up at the right spot at Moonee Valley, down the side where it's flat, you're not cornering. Whereas Cranbourne, you're cornering from the 6 to the 300 metre mark. Like it's a long sweeping bend. So if he tries a similar run there and he's having to turn, that may be his undoing, but he definitely deserves to be favourite.
Yeah.
All right, so hunting value there, and he's at each way bet still with enough runners there. So race 2, number 8, Papal Army. Hopefully Billy Egan can bounce back to some solid form. Cranbourne race 6 is the next one. It's the 2025 metre benchmark 84, the John Duff & Co., the Leicester. Nations Call's the favourite here. Griffiths de Kock, who soon will be busting up their partnership. $3.50 favourite with B. Shin. Ambassadorial, Gaybot, $5. Savoir Fair is $8. Flash Feeling $9.50. Duke of Condicote $10. Matthew is $13. Commando Drift is $13. CS7 $16. Akaratiri is $20 and Beta is $34. Better the rest. Another couple just lagging up the field there. Nico, the horse that you like here is Flash Feeling, coming through the Flemington benchmark 90 over 1800.
Yeah, he's back on the inside with the pink pom-pom and the blue colours. I just thought he had no luck here. It's crucial stages in the race. He's just probably trying to get into it here. He's just held up, has to go back towards the inside. And this has probably been the case his last few runs. He's had young jockeys like Ethan Brown or apprentices ride him his last 3 or 4 rides, and he just hasn't had any luck in his races. He's been caught wide on a fence day at Caulfield, then they backed him up and he was on the fence on a day he had to be away from the fence, and then there he had absolutely no luck, where I think he should have been closer in the finish. Gets Mick D on.
That's what I noticed
Mick
here.
D's got a good association with this horse ever since Sadler had him. Team Hayes are trying to get a win out of him, but he seems to click with him.
And because he lays in a bit, so the strong left-hand whip rider.
Yeah.
Very, very big key for me here. That's what I noticed the most.
So, yeah, I thought he was a horse that ran really well first up, and then, he's sort of been not in the wilderness, but his form doesn't read that well, but there's just been a lot of excuses for his recent form. So I think from Barrier 4, MD, he was a horse over the summer too that I remember being out there at the races. He raced on a lot of those really hot days that we had through January, so I don't think that will affect him there on Saturday. I think that will come into play. I think the locals could have a fair advantage on the horses travelling to the races, so I think that's something potentially worth looking at. So, I think he's a horse that should handle the conditions. He's a good dry tracker, and Mick D going aboard. If he gets the right sort of run in a race where there looks a bit of speed, he might just be able to pop out at the right time and be strong to the line. I thought the other horse you had to have a good look at was Akatiri. I know he's had a bit of a gap between runs, but he did run second at Alma Rise last start at Moe. She went and won at Flemington, has a lot of form lines through these horses on his home track. Thought at $21 you could do worse than having something small on him, but I think Flash Feeling, another one of those sort of middle pinners. If he gets everything go his way, I think he's well up to winning a race like that, and he just hasn't had any luck recently. So bit of D-Day for Flash, this preparation, but I think, MD on should do the trick.
Yeah, there's a couple of horses that I didn't mind, but just not sure how well they're set up here, and one of them's Commando Drift. Don't know if you know much about this horse, but flashed onto my radar up in your neck of the woods behind Methuselah and Karuta and those sort of horses. Then went... I was just hoping for an easier task than the Mornington Ansett Classic with Herman Hess, and then went to the Herbert Power. So I think Thomas Sadler just aimed up a couple of times, but I think this horse is going sneaky good. So interested in your thoughts around it, Nico, but mindful it's going to map probably Coffin with Barrier 1 as, another nasty little punch in the mouth. And the other horse I didn't mind with an interesting rider, Safi or Saffron Osborne. Kieran Mars plucked out another... Pommy or UK sort of rider here, and she's on Duke of Condicote, who also ran in the Flemington Carnival. Thoughts on those two horses?
Yeah, Commando Drift, she shouldn't really won the Ansett Classic because Celine sort of fell asleep there down the side, and she was really strong to the line, then had no luck in the Herbert Power. Could see her running well. She's just had a bit of a gap between runs back to 2,000. She may need 2,400, but I think she'll be somewhere near the finish, and I just penned this Duke of Condicote because the jockey, just haven't seen anything here in Australia that's worth backing her, the rider off from yesterday that we saw at Caulfield. And I'm just happy this sort of horse that needed a lot of riding at Flemington to get going and get into the clear momentum. Now you go to Cranbourne with a rider that's never rode there before. Seemed an easy one to just put the pen through for mine. If it comes out and wins, too good, but I was happily against.
Yeah, they might need 2,400, might need one more.
Can we look? Is there any other 22,000 metre races on the card? Can we look at, please?
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful.
We can keep going.
Oh, my God. Nico, you're a sick man.
Nico is very sick. They're very sick down there.
Off-season 3-year-olds, just at the end of the derby, he chimes into a 3-year-old 2,000, into the off-season goddamn... Oh, my God. He loves the pain.
I'm not mares races, so we're on the up in distance. Outstanding. The next one we're going to have a look at, market only here, Cranbourne Race 8. It's the Meteorite, 1,200 metres, Barraquil, 270 into 235. Wow. Arkansas Kids, $6 in from 950. Nadal, $6.50. Ray, Magnerio, $7. Oscar's Fortune, 14. Robrick, 15. Spacewalk, 20. Moby Dick, 21. Cristilli, Pounding. Cloudland, Who Dares, Philosopher, $26 or better. We'll go around the room quickly. Nico, free bet. Who do you want to back?
I'd probably back Nadal, to be honest. He just had no luck last start against Ray Magnerio. Cranbourne, I think, will be a tick for this horse. Can maybe settle closer from the draw. Barracuda's an interesting runner because if you rate him to what he did in the McEwen, he'd probably be about $1.50 if he was able to replicate that sort of rating. Then he kind of went back to somewhere near his level last start. Is that McEwen rating just way too big and he's never going to sort of get back to there? Even if you do rate him to last start, you probably still have to have him favourite. But I thought it was interesting to see what the market does with him here, and if the robots really just steam into those recent ratings. But yeah, I'd probably look to back Nadal, but Barracuda is a very interesting runner from a market point of view.
DK, free swing?
Easily explainable. I mean, he's won 6 of 9, Barracuda, 6 races out of 9. The 3 misses all down the straight. Back around a bend's the key with him. So I'd be happy to rate him back up. He's defying things like being deep in his prep because he's different because he missed so much racing as a young horse. He's been fresh as this 5-year-old or whatever. So, I mean, you could say he'd be looking for the paddock, but he seems a bit of a freak horse. So back around a bend is the key for me. So, yeah, Barracuda, thanks, Scoot. Back around a bend.
Well, you get a free bet too.
Barracuda.
Barracuda?
Yeah, it'll just win if it produces what it did 2 starts or 3 starts ago.
Touch short for me, so I'd probably just lean Nadal's way, and I think Cranbourne will suit it as well. So yeah, I'd rather take the $6.50 with my free bet than the $2.35.
He's
you
got
don't get
one
the
Doc Brown, he kills you.
Hey?
He's another Doc Brown. There's a long way between his best and his
Ethan.
worst too. Oof.
What do you
Get
think,
lost in
DK?
the bloody shopping trolley.
E. Brown.
Yes, he seems a bit hard to catch at the moment, but I prefer he's not a tick when I see him. And he gets a jockey change at the moment. Some blokes you really like, but not at the moment.
All right, let's go to Cranbourne Cup, the 2025 metre race. It's a wild night. $5 favourite at TopSport. Globe $6, running by $6.50. Pinstripe $8.50. Von Hock $9.50. Air Assault $9.50. $12 Nugget. Mighty Ulysses $14. Cadmus $21. Macram $21, and then $26 or better for Earlswood, Uncle Bryn, Cosmic Vega, Dashing, blah 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 blah. Free bet, same scenario. Nico, you can go first.
Oh, tough race. You got It's a Wild Night, his form's hard to line up, given he comes from New Zealand. He does have form around Sharp and Smart and Prowess. 2 wins this campaign have been good. I do have a slight sort of feeling that he may be better the Sydney way of going. He runs the Melbourne way of going in New Zealand. He always wants to lay in. So can he get away with that in a better class of race? Maybe not. Globe's racing well. Running by's got the same rider as that horse earlier. How do you sort of profile that? Pinstripe's got a lot of weight. I don't know. Tough race. I'd probably default towards the favourite just because he may be the best horse, but if I had to have a free bet, I'd probably back Nugget, who was terrible last start in the Champion Stakes, but just forgive that. He's run prior in the mile at Moonee Valley, the Crystal Mile. That's very good form for this 3 beat Light Infantryman. Von Hawk was sort of in the finish there as well. Poison Chalice. So I think that's the right sort of form. So yeah, maybe Nugget for me. Bit of a throw at the stumps that a horse hasn't won for a while, but I think it's a tough race.
It's the right race to throw at the stumps. I reckon I've been 20 years about to pick it and Cranbourne Cup. I don't think I've tipped a winner. But free bet, I'll go along similar lines to Nico Eden Von Hawk. Same thing, that Crystal Mile's good form. He was sound enough. He'd probably, in the Cantala, the strong race, coming back out of the really strong race by Mr. Brightside. So I would think Von Hawk around $9 or $10 for me, Scoot.
Von Hawk looks a weights horse. Like Pinstripe, they met at equal weights last start at 59. Now Pinstripe was 61. He's got 55, Von Hawk. So he does look in well.
Be fascinating. I'll be bloody blown over if Von Hawk wins. Cliff Brown finally thinks that he's looking for 2,000 and not 1,100 or 1,200 or 1,400.
It's a mile.
Yeah, I thought you were jamming me up. It's a mile.
Sorry. It says 225 on TopSport's website.
I thought. Jesus Christ.
And I thought it was a mile myself.
Is it your show?
Well, I thought it was a mile, and I'm looking at Tristan's website here, and it says 2025, and I'm like, this is too funny. And I'm like, I swear it used to be a mile.
Maybe the race is called the 2025. You've just stitched me up there.
Well, I'm even more confident. My bet.
Cranbourne
You go
Cup
first.
2025. That's what it is.
Well, that's what it blew my mind.
It's the year,
Anyway,
not the distance.
No, it says distance here. It says distance. We're still in 2024.
It used to
we're
be
not in 2025 either.
It used to be 2000. There you go. You're right. Just not this year. The previous year, you were right.
Old data.
I'll have a Quinella, Poison Chalice, and Stapati. Both scratched.
Off to the Gong.
I was going to say, I was really hoping that Globe was going to go over a mile. I thought third up mile was his go, and the stretch to 2,000 was too far, but I'll back him anyway. So I think Globe looks really set up well at the mile, 1,600 metres. It's ready to go.
You'd think too. I mean, it's doing Leicester had a share in it, and it's still with the estate of doing Leicester still in the ownership. So you would think with his affiliation with the Cranbourne Club, it's probably been set for a third up.
Well, I remember then he just absolutely was putting holes in horses. I know the form probably wasn't much good back in the Sandown days, but this horse was winning by margins. He was putting 4, and then something went amiss with him, but he was $3.20 favourite in a fee when he was jumping from the benchmark 100, and then I thought the last 2 runs have been full of merit. Like he was still on the line there in the Moonga Stakes, and then in the Chester Manifold, light infantry man just got the wet, that shower that hit the track, and he just got the right spot. And I thought he was really, really strong there for a horse second up. He looked vulnerable there. 1,600 looks grouse, but we've got Ethan Brown again. I'd back it. Free bet at $6 on Globe at the 1,600 metres, and I'm going to have a word to Tristan. That's very deceiving. I wouldn't want any customers to bet and then say, "Oh, yeah, I don't want that."
I don't know what's more worrying is that you're doing your form off Tristan's website, or punting form's got the flick for Tristan's website for your distances these days. That's a bit of an issue.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. It's a real Ron Burgundy. I just read what's on the screen. It's a teleprompter. Let's go to Kembla Grange, and hopefully you've got some answers here. Yeah. I think the Gong's a 1,600 metre race. Gringotts' favourite, $4.60 Territory
Which
Express.
Gong are they going to use? They got 3 gongs, you see.
You know what's weird? Zeldrin or whatever is, the musical brand of the gongs, but you'd reckon they'd spend $100 or $200 on some stickers just to stick over it and put the gong or brand
put the
them
picture
up, wouldn't you?
Just there, Mitch Beer or something on there, or something. Yeah, bang. Yeah.
What are they doing?
Ambassador.
It just screams PVL suit levels of attention and detail.
I just love that they've bought their own. I thought they might have hired it, but it was there a week early, wasn't it? Anyway.
Gringotts $4.60 in from 5 at TopSport Territory Express, $4.80. Nightmare horse for John and myself. Stapati $7.50. Tavi Time $7.50. Waterford $8.50. Found Reggie. Lekvate is $9. King of the Castle $10. NCAP $14. Vivier $14. Poison Chalice. Your Cornella horse, Brushka, no jockey nominated, so not sure what's going to happen there. $16, Berkshire Shadow, 17, Mighty Ulysses is another dual nom, 21, Osipenko's there, Glory Day, Skylab, Lions Raw Converge, got a tail this race, Lock Eagle, and then Griff from the body Abyss as well. So let's have a look at a couple of replays that John has requested, and the first is Gringotts.
So they went 100 mile an hour here. It did get a positive ride to sort of trail up, but it did have to cart the field up, and the winner was sort of 4-5 in front, and they went sort of 15 above or something, and this horse was there to be beaten and super strong. Everyone's saying what a good ride it was, and I'm not saying it was a bad ride, but it still certainly had all the merit in the race, and Vivier and a couple others sort of start coming after it late, but he's just looked bomb-proof, hasn't he, in good races. He's been very unlucky not to be unbeaten this prep.
This is Lekvart just coming across heels here, the Gundawindi Grey, JP on board.
Yeah, Group 1 mares race. There was a bit of tempo here, and obviously Tissue comes from the back, so it's not as if she wasn't suited. She's an interesting horse, but she just looks like a beautiful Kembla blend behind. Maybe she just doesn't go quite as good the Melbourne way. She's not gone poorly there, and it is Group 1 back to Group 3, and they should be decent enough tempo here, even though it's a great start, the Kembla Mile, which why I'm not worried about Gringotts being drawn 16. I think it probably should be, have plenty of time to cruise across and try and either find cover or roll towards the front again. And there's no way in the world Lekvart will be doing that. Should be blending back somewhere, and hopefully JP's just picking gaps through them. And the strongest late is just, it's not a great race. There's a lot of beaten up horses here, isn't it? Like it's been a long spring for quite a few of these horses. Scary horses like Stapati, and on the 7-day back up Waterford with the blinkers, but I just thought Gringotts was the obvious, even though it's getting up in the weights, and I just don't want the mare to beat me. She'll probably get to $10. She always gets out in the market usually, Lekvart, and I don't want her to beat me. So it's not a great program, full disclosure, and I'm nearly taking the piss in the next race that we get to. But I do think Gringotts is clearly the one to beat, and the grey mare's the biggest danger, clearly.
Territory Express, what's the problem?
Just 18 back to 16, same problems we always see. Just, he's probably he's just a freak, isn't he? Like, he keeps finding the line. He's not a typical horse that you'd say he's looking for further now and he's one-paced and whatever. He just finds the line. If he gets all the gaps, he'll make us look stupid probably, but you're going to need those, and he's just a punish of a creature. And I don't think back to the miles absolutely ideal, but you know what you're going to get with him. He's going to flop out the back, and he's going to need luck. So he's got a good chance. I just think Gringotts is just so much more bomb-proof than he is.
I was surprised. Yeah, we weren't going to see him at 2,000 metres. I thought that was a perfect time to step him up in trip, sort of off season, and just see what see if he just tears a weaker field or a similar field apart. Nico or DK, any thoughts or got this far in your form yet?
Yeah, it looked a really tough race. Lekvart, I think, like Walt said, could be suited just for the way the race sort of worked out there. And she was okay in the Empire Rose, given she may not be right up to that class. She'd sort of interest me, but yeah, Gringotts is absolutely flying, and the draw's probably not too bad given the start and the setup there. But yeah, I think Lekvart may be the one that you could have something on small at a bit of a price.
I was pretty keen on Lekvart's chances. I thought she was pretty well set up for a run here, and I really like the idea of Waterford as well. I sort of half lost a chub when I saw Regan jump on it, but I thought that even scratched last time, but for whatever reason he elected to run him. But I do like 62 kilos, forgive run behind St Lawrence, and now drops to 55.5. I think this horse is
what you're saying, just going back a sec there, is that you got half a chub when Regan Bayliss was on it.
No, before he was on it.
But you still have half remained.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think why the chub remains is because it's going to be dry. So I think...
it will be dry.
Yeah, I think in the McKell Cup and the other race prior to... I think I just can remember him flashing home in the Scone Cup the day that you tipped Skylab at $26.
Thanks, and Skylab's in this race too.
Yeah. That horse was just absolutely airborne. Beat I Know a Star first up last preparation. Then he hit a slow track and 2 heavy tracks. And this is a horse that just absolutely loves dry ground. So I think this is a Waller spike run, and we'll be sitting here thinking, wow, how's Waller done it again? Blinkers, but then you got the Reginated there from Barrier 2 that's just ultra scary. 55.5. This looks like his grand final race. So yeah, Waterford I like with a little bit of a confidence.
Reggie's grand final or Waterford's?
Waterford's grand final, but it could be Reggie's too. But he gets a lot of chances, Reggie, so hopefully he can put this one away. Race 9 is the next one. It's the Warra. It's a 1,000-metre scamper. Headwall is the favourite here for 40. Hedges for 80 first up. Interesting. Dragonstone, $5.50. Iron and Merc, $6. Fleetwood, $6. Brudenell, $10. Frilled, $11. South of India, $16. Let's have a look at a couple of replays. The first one is Headwall, making a mess of them, messing of Disneck, another Cognac, Dehorn Unicorn.
Back to 1,000, had certainly every chance here at midweek grade, but just he's done this a couple of times now on this track too, so that's a little bit of a concern, but I think it'll be a similar A-shape here, and just the hole he puts in him late. He's got a great sprinting turn of foot, which is something that's a sight to behold, really. Like, it's hard to out-sprint horses over 1,000 metres, and this horse can just really let go when he gets the right run.
And this is Iron and Merck's trial in behind a Bjorn colours.
Hello, darkness, our old friend. Yeah, so she comes to the outside here. Schumacher and Iona, they've become close partners. But again, very similar. Like, watch how this horse trials. It's just pretty obvious that this horse has returned in very good fashion. I think it's a dead set fresh horse. I think that's its absolute peak. Uncle Bjorn likes to get him ready. Bjorn gets him ready for the just before the Magic Millions. He's already over at Cracker buying up. So he had 2 winners yesterday, or 3 winners, I think, at Canterbury. Love when his stable hits form, and that horse looks like it's going to do. There's 2 rules. 1,000-metre races don't back markers. If you're going to back one, you don't back another one. So I've broken all those rules here, and I'm backing Rachel and Blake Spriggs. 2 further rules. So I'm hoping they all sort of cancel each other out. And no, it's a tough meeting. This race looks like South of India will burn across in the outside draw. You've got sort of Cote frilled. There's enough speed here, Brudenell, that they certainly should be able to get into the race, the back markers. Dragonstone's flying, but it's got the sort of weight and draws good, so it'll run well. Hedged, I had a really close look at, just not sure if it's a 1,000-metre horse. I think it's more of a sort of 1,200, 1,300 where it can sit up on speed or just behind and sort of grind away a little bit. That's probably not doing it justice. It's a good horse. I just don't know if it's got a turn of foot to go with Iona Merck and Headwall. And the reason why I've sort of ended up going with both is because they've both got very similar short bursts, and whichever horse is cuddled and exposed, I think we'll get over the top of them. And, it's just about timing because they've both only got really, I think, short turns of foot. So, that's my thinking here. But it is a tough meeting, and it was a bit of a piss take to chime into to Rachel and Blake on back markers in a 1,000-metre race. But I do think they will run very well.
Mm. Yeah, I don't know. It's hard to ignore that trial, especially with Brudenell in the trial as well. I thought Brudenell might be a bit of a price there at $10, but it looks. I'd rather eat fire ants, as you'd say, than bet into this race.
Oh, that's good. I might chew on a few actually. I think I might get rid of this whatever's in my brain at the moment.
Tasty. Nico, anything here? Can we tempt you to have a bet in here?
Look too hard. A few of those other races up there. So I had a little bit of look at the Gong, but nothing else to be honest. So too hard for me.
You're not missing much.
Yeah, it's bloody.
Get into the 20 field force midway of the highway. Honestly, if there's anything worse than 2,000-metre races, it's probably those two. So Nico should climb up a drain pipe to get a look at them.
I had a black booker and I thought, oh beauty, this horse is back to the provincials. It popped up Kembla. I'm like, yes. And then I'm like, oh no, it's Gong. So it's a feature again. I'm like, fuck.
Tristan had it down as a provincial meeting, did he?
Ah, dear. Don's Best. Again, no Don's Best this week because we've got the Bris Vegas show. It's rolling to
why
Magic
do we
time.
lose him? What's the go there?
Mate, I tell you what, it was very, very close to pulling off a bit of a plunge. He tipped up this $26 chance in the first race, Egyptian Goddess or something it was called, 26 into $13. It sat 4 and 5 wide the entire, and at the 300 you thought this is going to win. I don't know how he's done it, and pop.
Yeah, I saw it.
Goal on. Yeah, so the boys are rock solid. So they're going really well, and
Do we get Turbo back this week or what?
Turbo's back this week, so make sure you tune in. It'll be 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's definitely worth watching, especially because TopSport have got those 110% markets. The boys are on fire. They're loving the show, and it's good fun putting it together. So make sure you check out that. All right, it's time for some WA form time, and it looks pretty good here. I think the card at Ascot, and especially the features, have come up good. The WA Guineas is the first race. It's a mile, definitely. September Born's the favourite here, 245, Storyville 440, Olympic Park 10, Exceed the Planet $11, London's Image has been 26 into 12, Elite Missile 14, and then you've got Skull, Bone and Pig with Macca Jamez on it, and it's 51 into $18. So
that's a serious name.
What's that?
Skull Bone and Pig.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Don't know where to start with that. It's by a grunt out of Demon Dancer.
Skull, Bone and Pig. That's a ripper.
Yeah, there's been some real good ones coming through lately, but let's have a look at a couple of these replays, and I'll talk you through them. I sort of went half deep here, and this is the favourite, September Born. He's in the orange and blue. He's sort of sat 3 and 4 wide the entire and still manages to win. Exceed the Planet is just in off his back in the yellow and black, and that horse is carrying Patrick Carberry, who once was the jockey of Amelia's Jewel. I've got a little bit of a reservation about this horse, 1,400 metres up to a mile, September Born, despite sitting outside of the field there in the sort of 3 wide and 4 wide cart. It was a good win, full of merit, but with a decent ride, I think Exceed the Planet, the second horse, can improve. But these horses are both drawn much, much better, stepping up to the 1,600. So I think they can sit pretty close and pretty handy as well. The horse that I'm petrified of is Storyville, and she's drawn in barrier 8. So I think they're in 4, 6 and 8. And have a look at this filly. She's in the yellow, second last, hunting up on the rails. And the start prior...
This is the earmuffs on this day.
Yeah, the start prior, she was probably something licked as well. But
they walked in this as well.
Yeah, they walked in this as well. But... wow, she raced the last sort of 800 metres, just ears pricked, and just done this as easy as she like. And if the first time she sort of stepped out as a 2-year-old, she was just really on the chewy and keen, and she used to be like an on-speed horse, but then they decided to put her into reverse at the start of the race, and she's just finishing off much better. And I know that was really a slow run race that last time, but 2 starts back when she was held up and I'd say maybe something beat despite being beaten 4. That was a really fast race. So
that was first. So slow run with the muffs. You think fast run with the muffs should be potentially even better. So I was watching that race last week and I was like, they walked. The thing outside the leader was second favourite or favourite, I thought, at this home in the run, and then this thing just went. It's like, what the? Yeah, and went back and had a look at it. Yeah, it's got ability.
I nearly fell off my chair when I found this horse, and I'm like, they've bet $8 last start about this horse.
Yeah, with Lily Pike on it.
How?
Yeah.
And then I slid into Terrence's DMs, Terry Leighton, and he said it was an absolute fill up for him. Which
Thanks,
I was
Terry,
just
for
not
coming
surprised.
on the show and letting us know. Appreciate it, mate. I guess he might have had the mother-in-law scheduled to call him at this time last week or something, He's brassed us gold blood.
Yeah. Anyway, so story of a wow. Well, that was some sort of win. So I reckon it's a massive, massive danger to these boys in this race and can just stalk. So Willie Pike will get all the plaudits, but he's got a pretty easy job here because all he has to do is sit behind September Bjorn and Exceed the Planet and then just go whoosh straight past them, providing the track's not horrendously biased. The other horse we'll have a look at, most will have a look at the James McDonald plunge horse with J-Mac on this horse. This is this skull, bone and pig, and it's in the blaze with the blue and the yellow spots with the red hat. And it's just a really nice move of this horse. And the strangest part about this horse is he's...
Which one is it?
It's the 5, back on the fence.
Yeah.
He's going 1,000 metres straight up to 1,600 metres. So he started his career over 1,000 metres back in June, but and he only got beaten by 3 lengths to September Bjorn, which is a favourite for this race. And Luke Fernie is, playing funny buggers here. So it was 3 weeks ago that he had that 1,000-metre squirt up, and he's going for the sort of European style. Let's just go 1,000 metres straight into the mile jobby. This could be a sting, not sure, but he has got a lot of scope, and the way he moves has got me a little bit worried. And I did speak to T-Dogs about this horse, and he thinks it could be the best of the lot of them. So 51 into 18 is a bit of danger with Robinson, but a little bit called by barrier 16. But J-Mac's a smart man. He can do his tapes and he can try and find the bum of Willie Pike, and maybe he'll be the fly in the ointment. But absolute cracking race this, and I'm pretty excited about the filly, and I'm pretty excited to see how this washes out because, September Bjorn's no slouch either, but I can see him sort of getting to around $3, and I'd probably lean the filly, and I think it's going to be a fascinating contest. Nico, have you been following or hanging on to Trav's coattails with any of this Perth form or seen any of it?
Oh, we did have a brief chat about what's his name, Skull, Bone and Pig, given the 1,000 metres up to a mile. So they do some weird stuff over there in Perth. They have 400-metre trials, and it's just like a different world over there. So that was a bit interesting. But I looked at the last 2 races. I didn't look at the Guineas, to be honest.
I can't understand the price discrepancy of what I've watched in these of Exceed the Planet and September Born. Exceed the Planet's last 2 runs have been sensational. Eating ground up late. I think the step to a mile is going to suit it down to the ground. I can't understand why it's finished right on September Born's Ginger, 2 in a row with no luck the 2 ago, and one's $11 and one's $2.70. So at the price scoot, I'd have something on Exceed the Planet.
100%.
That joint, because it's such a closed pool of horses, last start winners are so heavily in early betting, it seems, and then late, there's all sorts of massive changes in the market over there. It's I can see why Terry is probably monitoring the early markets, because they do seem to put up some crazy early specs, like in direct comparison, like DK's saying. It's a weird joint.
I think maybe Sue Olive and P Carberry just coming off a couple of high SPs as well, DK, but. If I had a free bet, I'd be back and Exceed the Planet. 9 times out of 10 before I stepped into the 245. I could see
9 to 4 the place, the other one, compared to 6 to 4 the win.
And that's the beauty about when those big SPs, fair enough, there's one, so I had that big one 2 ago. It's okay, was that a fluke? Maybe that's why, again, last start. And then it goes and does it again, so it was no fluke. You can back its form rather than the SPs, in my opinion, when you see it twice.
Don't say that out loud, DK. You'll get the trolls after you, mate. You'll get the data trolls.
The SP anchor men.
Oh, they'll be coming out of the bushes.
They love the anchor, don't they? The Railway is the next big one, and 110% market for this one also at TopSport. It's over a mile, I'm pretty sure of that. And Light Infantry Man is $3.90 in from $4.80. J-Max on board, barrier 2, C. Ma. Not sure if there's a hyperbaric chamber in Perth, but he would have found it if there is one. Belclair Waltz Horse, $4.20 in from $6.50. Nash, barrier 14. You got Zipaway, $8.50. Super Smink, $10. Democracy Manifest, barrier 19. M. Zara, perfect man for the job there, $15. Sox Nation, D. Bates, $16. Bustler, $17. Port Lockroy, $17. Magnificent Andy, $20. And you got Casino 17, Cover Me, Tricks of the Trade, Younger Lass, and a big tail to this one. Even, Triple Missile, Ex-Victorian is over there. But I've only got one replay here because...
don't do it to me.
Lots of colliding.
You're not going to do it to me.
There's a horse I really like the look of, and I never find this horse. It's Port Lockroy. Here he is in the the yellow with the white. He's just going past end cut there. He bolted the whole way here, and he still has to come across heels here. Does a little bit of a left-hand turn and hits the line. Not quite as good as the winner. You know, your Lazarts and your, Lake Forest and your, Tom Kitten there. You got Stiffy Magnetica. But I've always thought that this horse would be even better at 1,600 metres, and I've said that on the show prior. I think the tempo here will suit him. He's got 53 kilos. He's got Clint Johnston Porter. Annabelle's a noted traveller of horses. She has no dramas with this. The heat of Perth will be just like Queensland. He was very good up in Queensland, has raced up to 2,000 metres. So if they go hard, Golden Eagle form, just to me, barrier 9, sits outside horses. There's even an argument that this horse may be better that way around, given some of the things that he does sort of dodging into his races. But I can see him just sitting first half of the field, and maybe they won't catch him with 53 kilos, and $17 is insane. And something that you just mentioned, DK, this poor horse is coming off SP of 101, $12, $17, and the market's just completely missed it.
Would have started 200s, 50s, and whatever it wasn't for me, would have started double. At least he's 5 hours further away from me. That's one good thing. He's getting further away from me, this horse. So he's mate. Yep.
You know what?
No, I do agree with you. He's just going to suck everyone back in again. And I was actually talking to the hippopotamus yesterday, and he's out with a sore shoulder at the moment, so that's why he didn't make the trip. But he said it went like an absolute rocket that day, and it's hard to disagree, isn't it? Like, I think Lazat's going to go to a goddamn Hong Kong mile or something, and or whatever it's running in over there, and start hard in the market. It's hard to get away from that form. And there's got to be huge question marks. Light Infantry Man, Belclair running a mile from the wide draw. I thought Casino 17 was actually a huge price as well. I thought it was a great race to go wide in, and you found one of them, and I thought Casino 17 had run well as well.
Nico, you've done this race?
Yeah, I did. I think Belclair is a career at a mile, like Walt and Light Infantry Man. I just don't know how you sort of trust that last start. It was just such a PR. Like, found the right part of the track. Poison Chalice was never in the race. Sort of got over the top of Globe Light, who may have still needed the run from the yard, and he looked dominant. But this is a much different scenario here, having to weave his way through from barrier number 2. I know you get J-Mac, but I just sort of can't back in that was real last start. So I sort of went looking for the locals, and you rule out the first two, it leaves you with the third pick, and that's Zipaway. I thought he was good in the lead up. Seems like he's been set for this race in the Kingston Town. He was really good in the Kingston Town, or the Northley, whatever they call it now, last year against Zaki. And then he came to Melbourne, and I thought he had a lot of, he was carrying a lot of condition in those runs in Melbourne. I think when he peaked was in the Alistair Clark, which was a good run. So I'm just going to take the Guineas disappointment, just, ruling that out, saying he may have just needed that off a wide run. So, I think if he can run up to his best, and off the first up run, it looks like he can do so, where he had no luck. I was keen to play him around $8.
Yeah, and I was similar. I was looking for a local. This is a locals race. Zipaway, I mentioned, remember when he came over here, Nico, he ran fourth in that Autumn Stakes. It was a really good run. And then he disappointed, and I gave him a hope here on the show in the Guineas, and he disappointed, then came back and ran well in the Alistair Clark Stakes, and that could have been the making of him, the trip over here. He was a dead set. Lamole, what was his name, Ramoli or something? It's just bouncing up and down on him like a cork in the ocean there first up.
Big JC.
Yeah. But you want, this, if you look at the history, the recent 4 or 5 years of this race, all locals, all 53 kilos, all off the 1 or 2 lead-ups, sits the one with the profile. But certainly respecting J-Mac coming all the way from Hong Kong to ride light infantryman. I mean, he had two rides at Caulfield last week. How'd they go? Pisces won by as far as you kick your hat, and Aliana could have won by as far as you kick your hat. So you got to respect J-Mac.
Your horse was a bit stiff in that too, wasn't it? Jesus Christ, it was a bad ride. Bengali, whatever the ones you got. Jesus.
Ben and Jill.
I don't think. Yeah.
Why'd you have to do that?
Well, I was surprised you didn't mention it. Like, Aliana was stiff and went like a rocket, but Jesus Christ, the other one was given a much worse ride.
Good filly.
Shows the difference in jockeys, that race.
Yeah.
Disgusting. Tricks of the Trade's another one that will improve, stepping up to the mile, and it's a bit of a set-up horse hit. So, yeah, she's an absolute cracking race. Are you going to share the horse that you found in race 9 with us, Nico? Or?
I was just going through the ratings last night and there was no markets up, but I thought this horse would be way shorter. Just had no luck last start, was a good winner first up, and it runs to the first up rating. It'll go close. It's opened up $19. Regal Statue was good fresh, should have got over the top of him late. Back marker, needs a bit of luck, and then last start just found bums the entire straight. So, $19 seems a big price there in the last, just off the rating. So, race 9, number 8, Regal Statue. I'll throw a dart there.
Outstanding. Add it to your quaddie, and happy day. So, everyone will be tuning in late doors to Ascot on Saturday. So, there's the Perth preview. I'm not sure that we'll get Terrence next week or for the next couple of weeks. So, might get T-Dogs back on, or we'll just limp through it ourselves. TopSport early bets, Uzziah and Pisces got the chocolates last week, as we mentioned, and the early bets are here. Doomben 2-9 Torabella, $1,300 at $2.50. Bounced back into the winner's circle big time. I think Tony Golan said it was trainer error the first time, and they just went too fast and sort of jammed her from a wide gate. First up, she bounced back and got the job done, so she might be back on track there. The second bet is Cranbourne race 8, number 1. It's Arkansas Kid, $250 at $950. Didn't mention this horse, Nico.
Could be an afterthought. Like, he's been up all spring, this horse. We were backing him in early September.
You excuse the run up in Sydney, and he's going good. He's been flying. Like, he's been a bit of a, that's that second to Right to Party, when Right to Party,
ties
God
in.
bless it, bombed it late, but ties into everything. It's just a draw here. There's going to be plenty of intent from a lot of these in $1 million race. Where's he land from 13? But here's B Shin.
Cranbourne race 9, number 10 is running by $300 at $850.
Yeah, well, you got to figure out what you're going to do with the rider here. I'm happy to sort of wait and see, but looked a tricky ride for a rider that's never ridden at Cranbourne.
Off having every possible last start, wasn't it? It was just a beautiful watch if you were on it last time.
Will be fitter. I thought it had some fitness improvement to come from last start.
Okay, so yeah, slight improvement. And Kembla Grange, race 4, number 7, left field.
There's a couple of horses in that race. It's similar to the race that we covered, where there's a couple of dangerous back markers that will come together. Hang on, hold the phone.
Win, Infatuation, Harry's Bar, Gently
Harry's
Roll,
Bar will be up on speed.
Big Bricey, Matt Darcy, Miles, Monty Kate, Ningaloo Star, Lululemon.
Wooloo Win. First, it went like an absolute jet first
And
up,
Doyle.
ran down Harry's Bar. If it backs up, it'll be the horse coming with left field late, and they're probably trying to run down. Harry's Bar is a little bit underrated, and his horses tend to go very, very well at Kembla, Murray. So, yeah, I think it's got a good chance, but I think if Wooloo Win comes through and improves off that first up win, they'll struggle to hold it out again.
Yeah, I remember that win. That was a monster win. I think the trainer said after the race that was just a pipe opener for it.
And you couldn't run on that day, and as good as Harry's Bar went, and he gets a nice run again here, you'd think that Kembla and run under the belt, it'll be improved.
Chips in Woolowin. So there you go. Kembla race 4, number 6. Woolowin. All right, I think that's the completion of the show. Big thanks to you boys down in Melbourne. Good luck with the heat wave. You'll have to get the aircon pumping, DK, and
But swimming pools, that'll be the go. Plenty of time at the pools, but no, looking. We haven't had much hot weather lately. So I don't mind it actually. As long as we've been lucky down here when we had a heat wave, the cool change. We haven't had a sustained one. The cool change comes in after we've had enough of it, and it's been all right. So cool changes arrives Sunday, I think. So a couple of nice hot days, and let's hope we can back a winner.
Beautiful stuff. Good luck with the yard too, Nico at Cranbourne. So make sure you head to Nico's Yard on Twitter. And if you see me in the yard, make sure you buy my ice cream or a cool drink with that heat wave. And Walt, you'll be in your Discord chat, and hopefully you cheer up.
See me, buy me a Xanax, would you? Please, thanks.
Oh, good on Port Lockroy late in the day.
I'll
That'll
need one.
cheer you up.
Actually, it's a long day waiting for Port Lockroy, isn't it? Jesus Christ. Imagine if we're trying to get out on Port Lockroy at 8 o'clock at night. Oh, man, that'd be a day to remember.
Territory Express, Port Lockroy,
yeah.
maximum pain, 100 to 1 double.
Oh, yeah.
Let's do it.
Who's the other? And Waterford as well. Throw him in there. Oh, there's just all those dirty back markers. Get into them.
Filthy. All right, we'll see you next week.